Vortex here, welcome to my review of the XDuoo X2S high fidelity music player. So yeah, what this is basically is a very cost effective or very cheap, very affordable digital audio player, as you can see. As a full disclaimer, I bought this myself from the Shenzhen audio store. I was not paid to do this video, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. So before I open it, I've partially opened it because it's quite difficult to open. But like I said, it's the X2S, so it's a newer model, supports DSD. I'll open that in a bit. So 32 ohms, 250 milliwatts. I don't know if that's true, but it seems to have plenty of output power, which I'll explain later on. There's DSD 64 and 128. There's APE if you need to do that. FLAC is probably what most people use, along with MP3. 16 and 24-bit, 44.1 up to 192. And WAV files, AIFF files, WMA, MP3, AAC and OGG. I think most folks will just use probably FLAC and MP3. I've only tried it with FLAC and MP3, works fine. Bits of specs that I can't really understand because of different language, but I guess that's the impedance recommended earphones from 16 to 300. I think battery life of 10 hours plus. Battery life is perfectly fine. I think 2 hours is the charge time. Weight dimensions are 6.3 centimeters by 4 by 1.5. Company info there, and yeah, let's open it up. Obviously, because I've been using the player, I've already took it out, but it does obviously just sit in there. So it comes with a quite long, just Type C to Type C to USB A. This only charges the device and does data transfer, so you can't use it as a USB like DAC unit for computer, which is a shame. There was a rumour that I was going to add it in firmware, but I don't know. Warranty card there, and a manual. Chinese and in English. So introduction there, file it actually plays, formats using OLED panel, supports up to 128. I've tried it with the 64 gig LMH6643 op amps. Information there, 3.7 volts, 800 milliamp hours. How you use the menus, what the screen actually looks like. So songs, duration of the song name, all there, file name, EQ, a spectrum and sampling rate. Doesn't show bit depth, so bear that in mind. There's the specs there, if you want to pause it. It's the same as on the back of the box, what things do. Troubleshooting, battery can be charged, blah blah blah. Just pause the screen if you want. It's all there. Maintenance, phone out, what basically functionality, and yeah, so get onto the player. Now I've added some zoom so you can have a better look at it. So before I get into the buttons and everything, this is a FiOM5, so you can see the actual kind of size. So that's a back button for, I'll show you everything in a second. So you got 4 buttons there. Headphone out at the bottom, which I like. It's not central, don't know why. Volume up and down. SD card reset, which I'm about to use. Information there. Type C on the top. For charging and data transfer from a computer, that's it. So if you plug this into a PC or a laptop or anything like that, it will look like removable storage. Power button, which is recessed, as you can see. Turn this on. Turns are quite quick. So as you can see, in the folder that I'm in, it's the 13th track out of 16. It's at 1 minute 27 in, and the 547 is the track length. 44 kilohertz. There's no EQ on, and that's kind of just the graph of what the frequency graph looks like. All to play everything. That's the battery indicator there. It's pause, so if I press that, it will play it. As you can see. 5 is the volume. Goes from 5 up to 31. So 31's a weird number. Press that again, locks the screen. You can do it so that does nothing. Again, obviously it saved the track time as well, so which is quite good. So if you're halfway through a song, turn it off, turn it on, it's there. Yeah, so I'll play that. So it thinks it's doing something. Let's go out. So that's the folder. So it's in through folders. Well, you can play it through folder structure. The pause is like a enter button. So you can create playlists. I typically just use, so there's nothing in the playlist. I'll just play through folders. It's typically my way. Settings, so languages, English, all the way. So there's 30 different languages supported. So that's like the back button. And it cycles through menus. Create playlist. Yes or no. I'm going to click no. Repeat. Off all. Folder 1. Shuffle. Turn off. Brightness setting. I'm on half. There's max. Which in real life is more than acceptable. But the brightness is a problem when you're in direct sunlight. It's not very good. That's a negative. Default volume, memory. Custom. So if you use sensitive IEMs, you can set it to what you want. There. Lock screen should say settings. So when the screen's locked, you can do it so no keys work, all keys work, volume keys work, or only the play button works. I like when I lock mine that nothing happens. So if you press a button by accident, nothing happens. So that's how you do it. All key, non-key, volume key, play key. Is you good? Sleep timer, off, set the timer. Off timer. So after so long, so you set it to 15 minutes. So if it's no inactivity, you'll just turn off. Backlight timer. To 2 minutes if you want to do that. Click back. Information. Player information. So that's the firmware. There's been no firmware updates for this yet. So 1.2b. Disk space. That's disk space I've actually used, I think, which is kind of weird. And to format, auto grade. I don't know what that is. I guess that's firmware. I've never done that because it's none. And factory settings. So if you click play, currently playing, as you can see still. Even though there's no earphones in, it's still playing away. A negative is buttons. I like how it all works. It's a very simple device, but the buttons are they're a bit shaky, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, like screen in the sunlight in here, in a room with a good enough lighting that's not direct. It's actually fine. I would like the text a bit smaller. So like we are sleeping. It's a bit big. I think there should really smaller natural text, which is a shame. Let's go out of that. So different way of doing it. All songs, artists, albums, genres. There's no search button, which is a shame. And also, if you've got a very big library, it can take 10 to 15 minutes for it to scan that, but only does it once when you've done it. If you change anything, it has to scan again. So you have to plan that, which is a bit of a pain. Let's click albums. Let's go for that one. See, there's no number. It's in alphabetical order, but that's not technically the way the album is. See? So it's just alphabetical. I don't really like that. It should really be track 1 to 10, for example. Genres, again alphabetical. All songs, again it's from 1 all the way down to Z. I preferred it through the folder way, so see track numbers, which is better. I prefer to go through it through the folder structure. Anyway, let's click the EQ, now playing. Oops. Rock, bass, pop, jazz, classical, soft, custom. So -6 plus 6 to 16k. So 62 is the lowest. Then you click on it, use these, do what you want. It's not too bad. Again, I didn't really play around with the EQ. And yeah, it's going from my notes. So there's no search, there's no gapless. Power, I'm going to speak about power. It seems more than powerful enough, but if you've got sensitive earphones, it will pick up a hiss, which is a deal breaker if that's all you've got. So I've used in here, my review is fairly recent, the GS Audio GT12s, sensitive, and it sounds, there's so much hiss, which is kind of a disappointing. But I'll try this with headphones, which get lowered at 10 out of 31, and it sounds great. It seems like it's more suitable for headphones in certain situations, or if you've got less sensitive in-ear monitors, earphones, it works better, I found. Yeah, so that's that menu. Scanning times, so it's only one SD. I've tried it once with a 128. I haven't tried anything bigger, but scan times can go from seconds up to minutes to 10 minutes, depends on your size of your library, so you have to remember that. I don't like that the tracks can be in alphabetical. I like going it through this way and they're in numbers, which is, I think, better. It's like an infinite circle as well, as you can see. Oops. When you get used to it, it's fine. Yeah, so that's that. The lock key, it doesn't always save. So if you change the lock key mode, turn it off, turn it on, it doesn't always save the mode. You have to check that. And volume steps. So I'm on volume 5. Between 4 and 5 and 6, it's a big step. You say you're going from 0 to 31. It should be like 0 to at least 60 or 100. But then again, unless they implement that in a firmware update, they may actually kind of fix that. Battery life was 10 hours easy. It's better than I expected. The output power is what I expected. I like this because it's a simple player. It's flawed, as you can see, but if you've got a large enough library, let it scan once, good to go. If you keep using different albums or delete one, add in one, you may run into constant times it has to scan the database up to date. Noise floor is also a problem. I do like what it is. If you use the same kind of earphones, if you're like me, a simple user where you just play through folders, it works perfectly fine, and just tweak volume, next track, previous track, play, pause, that's fine. There's no USB DAC amp facility, and there's no line out as well. But the actual sound quality is actually pretty good. It's hard to describe. It just sounds kind of, the sound quality is perfectly fine. It's not as good as, like I said, the Theo M5 or like the Shanling I've had for a while, these two, but these are over twice the price. This also doesn't have Bluetooth, which again might be a deal breaker, but this cost me less than half than those other two. But apart from that, it actually worked. Just turn this off. See you soon. But yeah, half the price, but I like it for what it is. It seems to be built very well. I like to see it come with a case, or be able to purchase a case. But yeah, like I've said all the flaws, like the rattly buttons in the sunlight, it's not very good. No Bluetooth or USB DAC functionality. Maybe slightly smaller text. So there's no search. There's no gapless facility. The noise floor, scanning times, alphabetical order of the tracks, the lock key on reboot, and the volume steps. That's all the negatives. Now it depends if they're negatives to you. Personally, for me, I'm a simple user of this device, so it works fine for me. But if you're very precise and you're very picky how you use a source, how you set things up, this might not be for you. If you've got sensitive in-ear monitors, this probably won't be for you. But for headphones or harder to power or less sensitive earphones, it actually works fine. And I think that's pretty much it, really. There's not much to say. Only one SD card. Never had to use reset. Apart from that, I think it's a good little player. I only paid 30 something pounds, so mine was actually quite inexpensive, and it spins. And I think that's it. Anything you want to know, just let me know in the comments. I think I've gone through it all, because there's not much functionality. And yeah, thanks for watching and take care.